this day. And this is because the Holy One, blessed be He, chose to deal with Israel by reincarnating them. And so we're constantly here in states of reincarnation. And this is what it means when you went after me in the wilderness, in a land that was not sown. Not sown because it referred to the future, which is also likened to the secret of the wilderness. And then if you understand that man is to till the ground, and by so tend to the garden, then you can understand that to till the ground is to nurture and culture, especially a wilderness, from which it says, I'll make the wilderness a garden. This refers to us in the lapse of time in existence, which is the true state, in order to tend to existence, which is the ground, to create the future, which is a wilderness, into something fertile, which is now. Another explanation of the verse, awaken, seeing you that dwell in the dust, is that it refers to the patriarchs, and the bodies of those who died away from the land of Israel will be rebuilt, and they shall roll under the ground until they reach the land of Israel. There, and not away from the land of Israel, they shall receive their souls, as it is written, therefore prophecy, and say to them, thus says Hashem Elohim, behold my people, I will open your graves, and cause you to come up out of your graves, and bring you into the land of Israel, which is followed by, and I shall put my spirit in you, and you shall live. That is to say, this shows the process by them not going through the other planes of correspondence. That is to say, the world of the mineral, or the world of the vegetative, or the world of the animal, or they go back to the world of man, which is identified by the letter Yod of Yud-Ke Vav-Ke, because the letter Yod corresponds to Atzilus, and the Nukva of Atzilus is synonymous with Israel. And then the letter He corresponds to the animals, and the letter Vav corresponds to the vegetative, and the lower level He refers to the mineral. And so souls are bestowed by Yud-Ke Vav-Ke, and the sod of this matter is that Yud-Ke Vav-Ke are the various worlds by which the various winds, which are the four kinds of winds, meaning the four kinds of spirits, meaning the spirits from these different grades, meaning some spirits and some souls are reincarnated into the mineral kingdom like Bilam, whose heart became stone, and he became silent. Another level is the level of plants. And some spirits and some souls come through by means of the plants. And so then therefore there are souls within the trees. And so it was written that the boards in the wall cry out, and the stones, they answer them. This means that the boards in the wall have ruach and nefesh, meaning it was a living thing. And those souls are in that place, and they cry out because of the great agony of boards in a wall. But we can't hear it. But nonetheless, this is what is said in Shar HaGilgalim. Not only this, but it comes down even to the mountains. And so there are ruachs and nefesh that come into existence as trees and as various plant forms. And it is also written, man is a tree. And the third thing are the animal things, and they too, different souls come back as different kinds of animals, and their lives are always of a vicious nature, because nature consumes itself. It's very harsh in nature. And then the highest yod is that of man. And so then therefore, when it says they're rolling through the ground to the land of Israel, it means they're bypassing the lower grades of Gilgal. And that's what it means to go up out of the grave. Meaning to go up out of the grave means to ascend back up to the human level, so that your spirit and your soul comes back from the level of the human being, right, which is the fourth level, and not a lower level. And so that's what it means. I will open your graves, meaning when you die, and cause you to come up out of your graves, meaning to ascend the levels, passing you through mineral, vegetative, and animal, and bring you into the land of Israel, where you will be made a human being, which is followed by, and I shall put my spirit in you, and you shall live. I'll call you up the graves of your soul that ascends up to the land of Israel, and then I'll put my spirit in you and apply a ruach to you, from one of the four winds which were of the four levels, and then you shall live, meaning you'll reincarnate. Rabbi Pinchas said the soul is taken from the throne of glory. It says the neshama is taken from the throne of glory, which is the head, as it is written, your head upon you is like caramel, and the hair of your head like purple, means the soul, that is the hair of the head, which again, this is all purple, which is the color of Bina, which is the secret of the neshama. And there were three curtains that divided the Holy of Holies and the holy place. And those curtains were blue and red and purple. And so the hair of your head, like purple, means the soul that is the hair of the head. Finally, the king is held in the galleries, means the body that is held in the grave. This refers to the body, Sarat, and the king. So the Holy One, blessed be He, shall visit it at the appointed time, as is written, and Hashem visited Sarah, as He had said. He shall visit the body at the appointed time, when He shall visit upon the righteous. Sarah is Bina, and it's been explained how she personifies the aspect of Leah. But here the interpretation is that Hashem comes to the neshama, but now Hashem is Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. Yud-Kei Vav-Kei are those four levels that I just described to you, which one goes up in the grave, meaning the soul, which rolls through the various levels to be then provided a spirit. And so when it says, and Hashem visited Sarah, it means these four levels of reincarnation visit the neshama. And He shall visit upon the righteous means that He ascends to the level of the Yod, which is Yud-Kei Vav-Kei with all of its parts. And then it has all of the levels alongside it and within it. And so then therefore this was the promise of Hashem, which are these four levels as well, Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, these gates. And to Abraham and his sons, that they would not go to Gehinnom, which is the place below that place, the places I've just described. And so then therefore, when it says regarding the use of that name, in this case it means those chambers. So Rabbi Pinchas said, in the future, the Holy One, blessed be He, will make the bodies of the righteous as beautiful as Adam. Was when he entered the Garden of Eden, as is written, and Hashem shall guide you continually, and you shall be like a watered garden. So a watered garden, water is the Torah. And regarding Adam, it's referring to the sparks of Adam, because Israel finds themselves from the sparks within inside of Adam. There are many souls that are from this place. And there are two aspects. Some are called Yaakov, and then others are called Israel. And the part that's called Israel are found in the body of Adam. Body of Adam means sparks that came from Adam, as opposed to sparks that came from the other various pursuits, which are of a different type. And so it says, and Hashem shall guide you continually, and you shall be like a watered garden. Rabbi Levi then said, as long as the soul remains in its exalted position, it is nourished by the light from above and is enclosed with it. When it enters the body in the future, it shall enter with that same light. Then the body will shine as the brightness of the firmament. This is as it is written, and they that are wise shall shine like the brightness of the firmament. This refers to the brightness is rooted in the word ZOHAR. And so it means those souls that exalted, and that this is the secret of what is written. I will lift up your name, meaning the soul, which is called name, the level of the nukva, above the heavens, meaning above the forms, O Elohim. And when you elevate the soul and not the midos, because the midos push the soul down, meaning the forms push the soul down underneath it. But you must lift the soul above the forms, from which place it receives from the holy light. That holy light is where it is nourished, under the head, as it was said of Yaakov, who placed that stone there under the head. And it referred to the soul when it receives Mochin Gadlus, which was called the head, meaning Kathar Bina. which is called head. And this is in the process of the reception of Malchut Halacha. This is written that they that are wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament. And this hints to when the soul is in that place and receives this Malchut Gadlus, Malchut Halacha, it will come by way of the Zohar. And then those souls that reincarnate, they go, which their soul received will go with them. And this means the level of their corrections, so that when they go, they will tikkun things at the level of their correction. And the previous corrections lights will enter in with that person, so that that person should not have to struggle a lifetime for a particular tikkun. And people will attain full knowledge, as is written, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of Hashem, means full das. And this is because when the soul is elevated to das, when the stone is placed beneath the head by Yaakov, when it receives this Malchut Halacha, it's in the position of das, and then it needs to be filled. And the earth is filled with the soul when it's full above the heaven, which is das. Where the soul is then filled by Kether Chachma and Bina. That light goes forward with them, and this will continue until they attain full knowledge, full da'as, which means full tikkun, full rectification, full correction. And this is why the Holy One, blessed be He, does not break His covenant with Israel, so that they will go until they receive the fullness of their das, their knowledge of God, because that's what Hashem asks of us, and it happens until the fullness of the das, which means to wake up, to truly awaken. And the awakening, it can't be an awakening from conceptualization. It must be by das, which means knowing. So it says, how do we reach this conclusion from the verse, and Hashem shall guide you continually and satisfy your soul in grace? Which means that Hashem, meaning the Torah, meaning the light of the Torah, will guide you continually as through your many incarnations. And satisfy the soul in drought, which means satisfy the soul in times when you don't have Torah. Because there'll be some gilguls that you'll go through where you won't be able to have access to the Torah or some other thing. And so then He's with you in drought. This is the light of above. And make fat your bones is visiting the body. So make fat your bones. So then fat is the whiteness of the redness. And that means that with muscle, there's the muscle and the fat. And the fat is the whiteness of the left side. And it comes in upon the bones, which are of the right side. And the fat is from the left, which has been sweetened. And the bones are from the right, and they're harsh. And they're called dry bones. And this is the valley of dry bones. And the fat of the bone is when the whiteness of the left is with the whiteness of the right. Which is to say, when these two things, Chachma and Bina, go into da'as together, meaning when the mother's Torah and the Torah of Atzilus are in a symbiotic relationship. When you not only see the constructs of the glory, but you see the underlying Atzil in it. And so then that light, which is the supernal light, goes and connects to the bones, and it is called the fat of the bones. And it is a visiting of the body, while in you shall be like a watered garden, and like a spring of water whose water shall not, is the knowledge of the blessed Creator. So the only thing Hashem asks of us is to have awe of Him, which is translated as to fear Hashem. And so then another level of this is written for us to know Hashem. And this knowing is to the fullness, because that's the purpose, is to know Him. That's what the purpose of the neshama is. The neshama, which it said was just taken from the throne of glory, is rooted in the glory. The glory are the 10 spheros and the 22 letters. So then the purpose of the neshama is to contemplate the spheros and the 22 letters, because that is the very root of the neshama, which is Hashem's glory, which is the glory. What it means are called the 32 paths of wisdom. So then it says, then all creatures shall know of the soul that entered them. But now it's saying creatures. And so then creatures, this is the great awakening that I spoke to you all of. Because all creatures means when the Holy One, in the illimitable, knows of dreaming within its dream, the lucid dream. And then all of existence wakes up. Not that the aim per se wakes up, because if the aim woke up per se, this reality would cease to exist instantaneously. But rather the existence will awaken to the illimitable. And it were as if it were lucid dreaming, meaning still dreaming, but now is aware in the dream. And so then every creature will know of the soul that entered them, meaning existence will know that it is illimitable, that it is the soul of life, the soul of delight, which has received all pleasures and delights for the body from above. And all are amazed by it, saying, how fair and how pleasant are you, love and delights, of which refers to the soul. Because then reality becomes a beautiful thing, because then all of reality becomes the illimitable. And then it's filled with tremendous beauty and tremendous delight and tremendous simcha. Rabbi Yehuda, which is the idea of come and behold, it is indeed so. It is written, the king is held in the galleys, and then Hashem pleasant to you. Rabbi Yehuda continued, at that time the Holy One, blessed be he, will make his world happy and rejoice in his created beings, as it is written, Hashem shall rejoice in his works. And so then again, this here refers to that dream. And that dream for how all of existence came into being. And then he will rejoice in them, because it is written, the terrors of the night. And that is to say, the dream produces nightmares. And the nightmares are all of the evil and the harshness. And so then when that finally transforms, that I say, the Holy One, blessed be he, will make his world happy. He makes his world happy because he begins to have happy dreams. Happy dreams means happy existence, because the variables have shifted, and rejoice in his created being instead of grieved by them. And this is the secret of, and it wounded him at his heart. It grieved Hashem at his heart. And why did it grieve Hashem at his heart? And this is what it means, he will then rejoice, because it says he regretted having created man. And having regretted man, because that's a part of the nightmare. A part of the nightmare was to create something, because you can't create anything, and that's when there can only be self-existent. Because if it's self-existent could somehow create, then that would mean that it's within some space, and that other thing is somehow outside of the one who created it. And so even creation itself cannot be applied to the illimitable, but rather comes by way of a dream. And all of those things then were infused with evil, which is to say darkness and error, because the opposite of perfection is mistakes. This was designed because our creatures spoke at the perfect conditions was for evil. That is to say, to understand what God is not. And so again, all of this was by way of dream. But at that time he will rejoice in his created being, as it is written, Hashem shall rejoice in his works. In its own dream, and during the time of its lucid dream, it will be beyond anything to fathom. Because the truth is that the underlying existence of every single thing, what animates it, when the illimitable, when existence awakens, when itself should awaken, after the existence awaken, then all creatures will know from all creatures the very existence, because the very existence becomes illimitable. And when it begins to lucid dream, that's when all of those extraordinary things but they knew they existed by the aforementioned reasonings I just gave. That is to say, is it occurring now? Definitely not. It's moving into better dreams. and all of the dreams and all of the night terrors, and then even when we become into the fullest, we're just altering states of existence. It was always now and always existence, just varying degrees of the awareness within it. And then there will be laughter in the world because it'll be an amazing dream. It'll be awoken. They'll be laughing and rejoicing and seeing everything as beautiful, which we do not see now. And so then why did it say which we do not see? Because when we see the truth of the illimitable in all things, having drawn that light from that place down to the body, to give the dry bones its fat, to resurrect from the dead. As it is written, then will our mouth be filled with laughter. This is according to the verse in Surah said, Elohim has made for me to laugh. This is the secret of Surah, the secret of the Neshama. And the Holy One, blessed be He, has made for the Neshama to laugh in the future, when it will rejoice and have simcha in everything. Everything. And the greatest simcha is amidst each other. Because it's one thing to see the Holy One, blessed be He, alone on the top of a mountain. And there's another to be struck in awe with one person or a group of people that behold the exact same thing. And that produces rejoicing and laughter and great simcha. And that will happen when the collective see the illimitable in each other. And then collectively they'll be rejoicing because everyone will see the same thing and be on that level. And it will be a time beyond anything we can behold or understand right now, at least as a collective total, despite many of you here have glimpsed to see exactly what that is. And so then at that time, it says, Elohim has made Surah to laugh. That is to say, the Neshama to laugh. So in the future it would happen. So at that time, people will chant songs as this is a time of laughter. And everyone will just be awestruck. They'd celebrate the trees, the plants, the animals. They would tend to the ground. They would live harmoniously with each other. It would be an incredible time of rejoicing because then everything would become the illimitable. And everyone would have the highest reverence for all of those things. Rabbi Abba added that on that day when the Holy One, blessed be He, will rejoice together with His created beings. So that means the Holy One, blessed be He, rejoices with His creation because he starts to lucid dream. And then he's awake in his dream. And even though it's still a dream, he's awake in the dream. And then he gets to see the miracle of all these created things. And he gets to rejoice because he gets to experience the one thing he began the dream to experience in the first place. And so then he started off through the night terrors. But then as many cycles have gone through, many dreams have changed. In the future, lucid dreams. And then the Holy One, blessed be He, rejoices with the created beings. Because the created beings were the entire reason for the dream in the first place. What is a created thing? And then the Holy One, blessed be He, begins to lucid dream. Because the Holy One, blessed be He, gets to experience His creation with all of us. Which is the entire reason why He began the dream in the first place. Except now He gets to experience that fact and not confused and slumbering to that fact. And the righteous that remain in Jerusalem shall return no more to dust. As it is written, and it shall come to pass that he that is left in Zion and he that remains in Jerusalem shall be called holy. Precisely, he that is left in Zion and he that remains in Jerusalem. And that is to say that all of the levels will be called up because all of the souls will have been transformed. And they'll be transformed by that first letter, which was the luminous, which is called a living soul. And that's Chaya. Because Chaya is that whiteness of the fatness of those bones. That's the soul of Atzilus, which then allows the world to see, which is the quality of Atzilus. And once we all collectively see, it says regarding that, and regarding the laughter is the type of rejoicing when the collective is struck in awe. And the Holy One, blessed be He, will experience all of these things with us. Because we'll know that we're the Holy One. We'll know that the illimitable is in us and from us. We'll also know that everything around us is also the illimitable. And that it's all one. But then it's also multiplicity at the same time. And the illimitable will be aware of this paradox, and it'll be incredible rejoicing, a time where every single person experiences the illimitable. But not only that, the illimitable will be awake within them, but awake within them in the sense of its lucid dreaming, meaning it's aware that it's in this place with us, which is an impossibility. And that's like the greatest dream that could ever happen. And once that occurs, the relationship that we have with the illimitable will be beyond description. And every person will experience it. Every person will rejoice in it. And no more will it be the collective sums of experiences of our ignorance, but he'll drive the evil spirit out of the land. Out of the land means out of the soul. And then our collective sum of experiences, which were formed all those heavens, which were made by all those angels, which were by all those lights and influences upon the heart. And that great serpent will not be there anymore. But instead, it will be the illimitable. Rabbi Acha asks, then there will only be a few. Rather, the rule that applies to Jerusalem and Zion applies to all those who remained in this holy land of Israel. This teaches us that the whole land of Israel is included within Jerusalem based on what is written. And when you shall come into the land, the entire land as a whole. So they make a distinction between the quality of the neshama, and they're saying some qualities were within Jerusalem, whereas the center of the earth is the land of Israel, and the land of Israel is Jerusalem, and the center of Jerusalem is the temple. And these things are one within the other, like the layers of onion. And so then the question is posited regarding Jerusalem, okay, but what about the neshamot, which aren't necessarily ruach and nefesh being gilguled? Because the ruach and the nefesh being gilguled is a secret of the man and the woman, or the ruach and the nefesh being removed from the garden, meaning removed from the neshama, and put down in the earth means garbed in skin. And so then therefore the question is, okay, for those people that obtained that most inner quality of the neshama, what of, do they need to descend as well? Do they need to return into this condition as well? Because they're not at the level of the ruach or the nefesh, which is alluded to by land of Israel. Israel is an allusion of the ruach in a corrected place, and the land refers to the nefesh. And so then the question is, if a person has corrected more than the ruach and the nefesh, will they be here as well? And then they conclude that the land of Israel, meaning the ruach and the nefesh, contains all that was within the land as well. In the same way that the neshama is vested within inside the ruach, the same way that Jerusalem is within inside the land of Israel. And so it answers a difficulty that they were having with this awareness of the illimitable coming into being, and this das of Hashem, this perfect das of Hashem. For the das of Hashem, for knowing, is the ascension of consciousness. And the ascension of consciousness is the ascension of existence. For existence alters according to the awareness of the existence, meaning the connection of the consciousness. And so when the world attains the full das, the consciousness by which existence creates and forms itself according to, an example of consciousness or awareness by which the dream of reality conforms itself to, will enter into that lucid state, which is the complete da'as, which is to know the self. To know the self is for the illimitable to know itself, in which it enters into that lucid state of dreaming that I mentioned to you all about. Rabbi Yehuda, the son of Rabbi Lazar, asked Rabbi Hezekiah about the dead that the Holy One Blessed be shall resurrect. Why did he not give them back their souls in the places where they were buried and let them come to live in the land of Israel? Rabbi Hezekiah responded, the Holy One Blessed be he took an oath to build Jerusalem and to see that it shall never be destroyed. As Rabbi Yirmiyahu said, the Holy One Blessed be he shall renew his world and build Jerusalem. He shall bring it down from above completely built, so that it may never be destroyed. And he took a solemn oath that the congregation of Israel shall never be exiled again, and that Jerusalem shall never be destroyed, as it is written, you shall no more be termed forsaken, neither shall your land any more be termed desolate. You shall no more be termed forsaken is the neshama, shall never be destroyed because the neshama is not destroyed. And neither shall your land, meaning your soul, any more be termed desolate, because the desolation of the soul, which is the land, comes about through error and darkness and ignorance. Everywhere you find a double negative, there is an oath. As is written, neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of the flood, neither shall there be any more be a flood to destroy the earth. And it is written, for as I have sworn that the waters of Noah should no more go over the earth. From this we conclude that a double negative is a solemn oath. And from that negative we can hear an affirmative. So the Holy and Blessed be He shall reestablish His world in the future in such a manner that the congregation of Israel shall never be exiled and the temple will never be destroyed. Therefore they shall not be given back their souls except in a place that is forever established, so that the soul will forever dwell in the body. Thus it is written, he that is left in Zion, his remains in Jerusalem, shall be called holy. Now Zion and Jerusalem are synonymous with the nefesh and the neshama, and it comes to include the ruach. And they enter into a perfected state. And the perfected state, which it was described by, so that the soul will forever dwell in the body. Because the body is the vessel. And then once it realizes that the body is light, just as all things are light, because everything here is really the illimitable. And once that happens, then those things will dwell. And this was the difficulty, because it could be said, if the illimitable woke up and became aware, then it would awaken from its dream, and then existence would nullify itself, because the endless would nullify the restricted area. Rather, existence is the illimitable itself. So existence, and then the illimitable wakes up to the degree of existence within that dream, or it causes him to lucid dream, to be aware of self. And in the dream, in the same way, if you've ever had a lucid dream, you're aware of self in the dream, and then they will be in those eternal states. So then they ask the question of where their souls will be, in terms of, will they have to come from here, will they come from there, will they come to the land of Israel? How is this happening? But rather, what he's informing him is that when this happens and the full das of Hashem enters in at some point in the future, when that happens, then they'll be gathered from all places, because the land of Israel that he's the first is referring to is the confusion of a place. But the answer, the land of Israel, is a soul that is connected to God. Because the land is the Nukva and Israel is Yashar El. So a soul that is connected to God. And so then when that occurs, and they are gathered to the land of Israel, meaning to those souls that are connected to God, Yashar El, at that time, it will be in every place. And the resurrection will be from every place. And every place will be gathered to the land of Israel, means every place will be gathered to a soul connected to God, through that perfect das, which will have filled the world. Rabbi Hezekiah said, thus he is holy, Jerusalem is holy, and he who remains in it is holy. And holy means the aspect of godliness. Godliness means the aspect of himself. When everything becomes holy, when the neshama becomes holy, when the ruach becomes holy, when the nefesh becomes holy, it means when they become the illimitable. It means when they become connected to the root of their true existence, which is God. So that the root of the neshama is God, and the root of the ruach is God, and the root of the nefesh is God. And they become aware of these things, then they're called holy. They're called holy because of the connection it draws, the lights that the neshama draws from its most inner being. And at the most inner being is the illimitable itself. And when the neshama draws from the illimitable, which is the essence of its own being, then it's called holy. And so then therefore when this happens, this is also expounding upon the Holy One, blessed be He, being aware within his own dream, lucid dreaming. Because when the neshama is holy, it means divinity is attached with it. And the same thing happens with the level of the ruach and with the level of the nefesh. Because what makes holy things holy is God. So then it is written, he is holy as it is written, holy is Hashem ZOHAR. So using the term he is holy to drive the idea that holiness is synonymous with God. And the Holy One in your midst is precise, because the underlying true reality of every being is the illimitable. It's God. It's the essence of everything that exists. There is nothing that exists outside of the existence. And they're all just in different states. So it says, Jerusalem is holy as it is written, had gone from the holy place. And so then Jerusalem, which is synonymous with the neshama, is that the neshama, which is the part of the human being that is the breath, whose force or power is the letters, and whose function is the contemplation of God. That's what the neshama does. So then, therefore, Jerusalem is holy, and God in the holy place. And he that remains in his holy means he who remains in the neshama. The secret of the path of zikr, meaning the path of remembrance, by quieting the soul and keeping Hashem before you all time, and beholding Hashem in all of its parts as one, and understanding He is Echad, and truly seeing that. And so it says, and it shall come to pass that he that is left in Zion, and he that remains in Jerusalem, shall be called holy. Zion and Jerusalem refer to the soul. And when it says they that are left in the soul and the neshama, it means they who stay connected to the soul and the neshama. Those then are called holy when they stay in it, meaning that is to say they're connected to it. Not that they visit it, but rather they become awoken, because until we enter into the Mochen Godless, the Mochen Elocha, our consciousness is linear. We use 10% of our brains. Our consciousness is linear. And that linear consciousness cannot be held in a awoken state. Only the degree by which its attention, its other forms, the mental form, so on and so forth, are connected. And so everyone hears, but not everyone is listening. And out of the people who are listening, not everyone is paying attention. And out of the people who are paying attention, not everyone is understanding. And out of those people that understand, not everyone is applying. And out of those people who apply, not everyone is applying effectively. So what I just described to you are a transition of different states of consciousness. And so then therefore, people are not always in a state of divine consciousness yet. But in the future, it's saying that we will be. And it's saying that the neshama, the ruach, and the nefesh will be one. They'll be holy, meaning they'll be connected by the illimitable. The illimitable will be awoken within inside of us. And he'll be experiencing himself in a lucid state. So I'll read this last one here, 398, and then we'll continue this portion tonight. So it says, Rabbi Yitzchak asks, what is meant by the verse, once again, old men and old women will dwell in the streets of Jerusalem, and every man with his staff in his hand because of old age? What is the good in phrasing it thus, and every man with his staff? Rabbi Yitzchak replies that the righteous shall revive the dead in the future, as did Elisha the prophet. As is written, and take my staff in your hand and go your way, and lay my staff upon the face of the child. Because the child refers to every person of the nations. They're called a child because they only draw from that child, which is their unpin. But they're also called dead. They're called dead because a person who has no Torah is considered to be dead. It is written, she is a tree of life to those who lay hold to her. It's written, wisdom gives life to its possessor. And so then the staff, or the rod of Hashem, is synonymous with the ways of God. To go to the child's face, meaning his midah, meaning his forms, meaning the panim of Zeranpin. And you go to the child who is dead, that means to say that those who are slumbering in night terrors, and you show the ways of Hashem to their forms, and then the dead child has life into it. And lay my staff upon the face of the child, which means upon his forms. The Holy One, blessed be he, said to him, what the righteous are to perform in this future, which is to come, you wish to accomplish now. And what is written, and he laid the staff upon the face of the child, but there was neither voice nor sound. And that is to say, voice and sound are synonymous with Zeranpin, who is the voice, and the Nukva, which is the sound, which is called speech. But the righteous in the future shall succeed in accomplishing this promise that is written, every man with his staff in his hand, to resurrect the dead. And a man is a complete partsuf. Will use it to revive the dead, those who have converted from among the nations of the world, as it is written of him, for the child shall die 100 years old, and a sinner being 100 years old shall be deemed cursed. Rabbi Yitzhak said that the end of this passage confirms what is written because of old age. And when it says, once again, old men and old women, that means both men and women will be reviving the dead. And reviving the dead is, let the earth bring forth living creatures. The nations are likened to the creatures and refer to the midos. And life is wisdom gives life to its possessor. And this is, let the earth bring forth living creatures, because it is written, and the earth opened its mouth. These are the words that are spoken, which then become a kalim, which are those angels, which become a kalim of the divine light when it's rooted in the illimitable. And they go out of the mouth of Yoshar El, of the sage, of which it is written, and the air, meaning the words, of the land of Israel, meaning the soul of the one who is connected to God, is enough to make one wise, because the earth is founded in wisdom. And so speech is the garment of wisdom. And therefore, let the earth bring forth living creatures. And those who have the soul of Atzilus, which have been brought to the land of Israel, which is called the land of the fathers, which is called the land of the living, and received that light, and the Neshama has awoken, and the Ruach has awoken, the Nefesh has awoken, before the illimitable wakes up, and everyone is awoken, that every creature knows its roots. Before this happens, there'll be a great awakening of the dead. That is to say, the old men and the old women, those who have obtained the secret of the Atik, which then they are called old Zaken, meaning the elder, for they have taken from the Zaken, that is to say, the beard, the dew of the revival, a dew that drips down from that beard, which means those who obtain the supernal wisdom of Chachma, the supernal wisdom of Atzilus. Those are the elders, the elder men and elder women, and those who stand in the Neshama, which are those, that quality in the human being, which allows the contemplation of God, the understanding of God, and the delivering of the ways of God. And before the great awakening occurs in the existence as a total, there'll be those old women and old men. And they'll be old because they'll draw from light from that place that's called old. And of this it says in one place that the soul is the Father. He used to say that the elder I'm talking about here isn't an age, but the light. Those elders, elder men and elder women that are in the land of Jerusalem with their staffs, meaning with the ways of God, having proper instruction, having walked the path of truth, which is truth, which is the center column called truth, which is called Torah of truth. Those who have the staff and know the ways of God and can navigate these places, you'll be able to take your staff, meaning the true path, because there's only one truth, but there are many individuals, and every individual according to its grade, according to its life, according to its limits. But what this means is that there are many different people with different limits. kalims, midah, that we walk with, billions. But there's only one truth that is called truth. Once that staff, which is truth, and the ways of truth are placed on the face of the child, meaning the face of the nation, the face of one who does not have most and godless, one who's at the level of Unicha, but a small child, then the light, which is filled from Chakracha from being called that God will occur. And every person will be a part of that. And every person is a part of that. Because when one is awoken to the reality of the illimitable, it's a requirement to awaken others to the light of the illimitable that exists within inside of them. Because in absence of that is a night terror. And the world is suffering because of the night terrors. But that shifts when he begins to wake up. And so that will bring us to the conclusion of today's portion. It discussed very, very powerful things. Now we see something just so simple as Yud-Kei Vav-Kei visited Sarah, and how these are the four worlds by which souls Gilgul, and visits the Neshama, meaning to bring it back up to the land of Israel, to Gilgul through all those chambers, brings them through those chambers above them to Gilgul back as a human being. And how this just one little thing, and Yud-Kei Vav-Kei came to Sarah. If you know Sarah's Neshama, it now means, and those chambers came to the Neshama. And so then the Torah, just one little verse, volumes could be written. Yud-Kei Vav-Kei visited Sarah. And then the secret of Sarah laughing. And the secret that in the future God is to make the Neshama laugh. Because the Neshama didn't think it was possible. Because the Neshama could contemplate God, but there was no solution at that level. And so it said in the beginning, if you say you have no hope, no existence, no remedy, because the Neshama couldn't figure the remedy out. And so it said, I can't. So Sarah, I'm not going to have a child. I'm too old. Because the rationale of the Neshama. But the illimitable is going to make the Neshama laugh. Because it's already an impossibility, the things you already bear witness to now. There's no way anyone understands how Aleph separation information actually exists, or the tree or the columns, or let the waters in the heaven be gathered to one place. And so you see the water gathered in your mouth, your reproductive organ, or the center column is yellow, or any of these other things, because it baffles the Neshama, because its light is above the Neshama, and therefore the Neshama does not have the capacity to contain its light. So it's going to laugh in the future, because we'll be stricken with and perplexed and dumbfounded and bewildered. So the last portion of it talks about those who come and are awoken to the truth, to guide those. And why I said last night that until the removal of the self, one cannot truly do what is best for any individual, because interactions come through the perception of self, things that are good for self, things that are bad for self. But it's not what is truly best for the individual, but what is best for the person being exposed to said condition. That has to shift, because once you remove yourself from the variable, you can see God. If you see the illimitable through the path of zikr, meaning remembrance, to always behold him, to see him in everything. If we do that, then they will be infused with the staff of God, the ways of God. Then their words will be like the air of the land of Israel, and your words will resurrect the dead. And the dead will be those without Torah, and they'll be resurrected because fat will become upon their bones. Supernal wisdom like dew will drop down. A fire offering will go up, and they'll ascend. And then you'll be like the Holy One, blessed be he, who brings to Sheol and brings up. So many deep things were talked about here. Contemplate very, very carefully the depth of interpreting it as the Neshama, and how deep the Torah truly is. David Amalek said, open my eyes and behold the wonders of your Torah. Many, many blessings, everyone. Shalom Salah.
Thank you, Rabbeinu. Shalom, salam.